The story begins with a guy who is tragically slain in a vehicle accident, but the unknown guy later returns as a magical sword in another dimension due to reincarnation. As he learns more about his new surroundings, he realizes that he can gain new powers and increase his skills by slaying monsters around him. Therefore, he starts using his knowledge to his advantage and slowly becomes more powerful each day. He notices that the further he goes from the place he was reincarnated in, the more powerful monsters he meets. But it also gives him the added advantage to confront dangerous enemies to acquire more influential powers. Fran, a black cat girl living in a mistreated slave somewhere, aspires to be great. One day, after developing a variety of skills and outstanding fighting prowess, Sword visits a woodland where he is stuck in mud, causing him to lose his magic and to be completely depleted. He spends months stuck there because he cannot fly. He begged to be freed by someone while at the same time, the Black Cat tribe is being transported somewhere as slaves when they suddenly get attacked by a twin-headed bear. The slave masters ordered the slaves to stay there while they tried to run away. The bear continued to slaughter the people when one of the dead came flying to the master, who got trapped under the body and then killed by the bear. This resulted in the slaves being able to move. The bear started to chase Fran and cornered her. When Fran realized that there was a sword stuck in the mud nearby, she grabs the sword and can communicate with the sword telepathically. Fran defeats the monster easily, as all of the skills of the sword are also transferred to Fran. One of the masters who survived orders Fran to give up her sword, which Fran has to oblige because of her collar, but the sword kills the master using telekinesis and frees Fran. Fran then becomes the wielder of the sword and names the sword Teacher. In a flashback, it is revealed that the Beastman of this anime wants to evolve all the time. Fran's parents also took her on a journey to evolve, but as no black cat can evolve, their journey came to an end before they reached their goal. Now Fran wants to travel the world to fulfill her dream of evolution so she can become strong. At present time, a traveler named Randall is saved by Fran when his caravan is attacked by goblins. Fran then accompanies him to protect him and tells her that she might be an E-rank adventurer. He further tells her that she can become one by registering at the Adventure Guild. The pair then arrives at a city named Alessa, but the teacher is extremely surprised by all the powerful weapons people are carrying there, thinking they are all better than him. Fran reassures the teacher that is not the case. They reach the Adventurers Guild, where Nell tells her that she needs to fight the Examiner to register. The Examiner of the fight is an ogre named Donadrand. Fran wins the fight, which made Donadrand concede defeat. She is accepted as an adventurer by Guildmaster Klimt and chooses the Spellsword class. Fran then sells the monster she has slayed to Nell, which makes the local mercenaries envious as the gold they got for killing the same monster was less than Fran. They started to insult Fran and the Black Cats, which made Fran furious, who then severs the feet of a mercenary from its leg while defeating others. Nell makes them pay 100,000 gold and refuses to heal his legs until he pays. The duo then leaves to find themselves in a room when they come under the eyes of a dwarf who realizes that Teacher is an intelligent sword. While they are exploring the city, the teacher tells her that a highly skilled blacksmith lives there. Fran is suddenly greeted by a dwarf who invites her to his shop to buy armor. The teacher uses appraisals to reveal that he is the honorary blacksmith of Granzel, which makes the dwarf surprising as he can also use appraisal. They go with the dwarf to his shop, but the teacher tells Fran to be on guard. Garrus the dwarf takes them to his shop where Fran gets her first set of armor. Fran requests the dwarf to see other weapons, to which the dwarf replies that she already has an intelligent weapon. The pair are surprised by this revelation as a teacher can block appraisal, but it turns out that the dwarf has good sight and no weapons escape his eye. They give the monster remains to make a scabbard for the teacher and some equipment for Fran. Afterward, they wander around the city to get some clothes, food, and a room. Next, while in a jungle, Fran rescues 3 adventurers, Lily, Cruel, and Eustace, who are under attack by hobgoblins. They tell Fran that a goblin king must exist as there are hobgoblins present, and if the king manages to find a queen, then they can make an army in short time. Fran then decides to destroy them alone, but is injured in the process. Despite all the injuries, she continues to fight them. Fran keeps fighting and overexerting herself in the process, but inspires her teacher to help her achieve her dreams of becoming more powerful in the process. They fight till sunset and make a huge pile of dead goblin bodies. Afterward, they discover the goblins come from a dungeon. Fran wants to go to the dungeon, but the teacher warns her, saying that she is tired and the sun is setting. The adventurers that Fran rescued return with reinforcements and tell Fran to report this to Klimt. Fran reports this to Klimt, who sets up a party to raid the dungeon and also promotes Fran to rank F. They go to Garrus, who repairs Fran's armor and tells them that the goddess of chaos creates these dungeons. Fran drags the teacher to the bathroom with her, but Nell is also there. She scolds Fran for bringing a weapon. She further says that the goddess of chaos creates dungeons to strengthen mankind. She also mentions that the god of war turned evil in search of power, but was slain by other gods, and goblins and other monsters were created from his flesh that scattered around the earth. The next day, Garrus completes the scabbard for the teacher before they go to the dungeon. At the dungeon entrance, a goblin ambushed the adventurers, which resulted in a lot of deaths. Fran then pushed forward towards the dungeon, killing a lot of goblins on her way, which surprised everyone. Fran can finally enter the dungeon by herself after defeating several goblins and hobgoblins at the entrance. Naturally, she encounters swarms of goblins within, but the teacher orders her to kill only those who can give them crystals valuable enough to justify the trouble. As a result, Fran only takes out the dangerous hobgoblins on her way while ignoring the others. Meanwhile, the rest of the group, along with Donadron, follows Fran to the dungeon and realizes that she has killed most of the goblins in the cave and only left a few for them. She goes further into the dungeon and finds the Goblin King and Queen with a bunch of goblins surrounding them for their protection. To their surprise, they defeat all of them in a single blow. Afterward, they fight their way past a swarm of giant ladybugs and reach a hidden door. They enter the door and find a weak dungeon master who commands a B-rank greater demon. They start to fight that demon but realize that he is their most powerful enemy till now when he slices off Fran's hands. The teacher manages to quickly heal her. Afterward, the demon used his skill taker ability to steal her sword skills. Having stolen Fran's sword skills, the demon decides to attack Fran, but Fran quickly outsmarts him and slashes him, making the demon think that his spell didn't work. The dungeon monster summons some goblins, but the demon kills them as he doesn't want his help. Meanwhile, Donadron and the group attempt to open the door but fail. The teacher encourages Fran to direct her attacks at him, so the demon will have to defend him because a dungeon master's summons cannot survive without him. Fran throws the teacher like an arc towards the dungeon master while she blasts the demon with powerful spells. The demon realizes this strategy, but the teacher changes his trajectory at the last moment and aims towards the crystal heart of the demon and manages to break it, thus killing the demon, but the teacher's blade breaks in the process as his mana is depleted. Fran, seeing this, rushes toward the teacher and hugs him while crying, thinking that the teacher is dead, but the teacher absorbs a demon crystal and manages to repair himself. Afterward, they kill the dungeon master, making the dungeon disappear. The other party members celebrate with her, but Donadani criticizes her for leaving without waiting for them. She is comforted by the teacher's promise that he will prepare her curry. He then reveals that he has acquired Skill Taker and is using his new experience levels to maximize both Skill Taker and his sword talents. Klimp meets Fran and inquires as to what happened to the demon's crystal, which is a very pricey item. Fran pretends that it simply vanished, hiding the truth that the teacher devoured it. Klimp agrees with her, but August storms in and accuses her of lying. That's all for today, folks. If you want a part 2 of this series, let us know, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss any update from us. We'll see you next time.